you got it locked on Roadium Radio.
Due to circumstances beyond anyone's control, Dr. Dre is in the motherfucking house. So right about now, and I say, yo Steve, are you with me? ICE, are you with me?
Here's a little something about a nigga like me that never should've let me buy a tape from Steve. Ice Cube would like to play dope shit mixed by Dr. Dre. And since I was a youth, I like Compton. Now I like the motherfucking Roadium. Buying a tape or two, that's what the hell I do. You don't like Tony A? Well, fuck you, this is a game, and I'm in it. Ice Cube will fuck you up in a minute with a right, left, right, making you sick. And then you see Tony A is on the mix.
Tony A! Tony A! When you're ready, go.
And welcome back, everyone, to Roadium Radio episode 300. You know, I remember when I first started this September 11th, 2019, I didn't think that we would see 50 shows, but here we are, 300, and it was only made possible because of you guys. Everybody who liked, comment, subscribed, everybody who became a member, everybody who follows me on Instagram. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. I wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for you guys. And we must always remember that our fans support us, our fans love us, and our fans encourage us. So once again, thank you. If you guys did not tune in last night when News and NORBET, make sure you guys definitely go check that out. Prior, we had conversations with Marvelous. But today we have a West Coast legend, and he's back. And he's back with a vengeance. So without further ado, please allow me to introduce West Coast legend, DJ Battlecat.
Tony,
How you doing, my brother?
Tony motherfucking A.
What's good, bro?
Man, I'm good. I'm glad to be back here, man.
You know what? I'm glad you're back, because I know I was trying to get you back, but you know what? Timing is everything.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. But let me just mention to the fans that may not know that you were here the first time, October 16th, 2019.
Man.
Yeah, and that was episode 6. Episode 6.
How ironic is that? Born in 68, stay on 62nd, and it happened to be in the rolling 60s.
There it is there.
It's like that. hey, I didn't make it like that. It just happened like that. Tony, hey, what's up, baby?
It was good, my brother. You know what? I'm excited to be here. There's a lot of things that I want to touch on. It's been a long time. I know you've been doing a lot. You've been working a lot. You're still DJing, everything. Music is your life, brother, and that's one thing that I believe we have in common, that we can talk music.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm going to ask you, possibly before we get into our conversation, some of the same questions that I asked you on episode 6, only simply because some people probably didn't watch episode 6, and maybe they just became a member a few months ago. So, and there may be some new fans out there that maybe for the first time, this is the first time they've heard of DJ Battlecat.
I get that. I'm with that.
So, if you can, in a nutshell, where originally are you from? Where did you grow up at?
Los Angeles, California, South Central, Crenshaw and Slauson, born and raised.
All good. Now, I'm going to ask you this because your buddy here has a VIP sweater on.
Yeah.
Okay. The very first time I saw you, I was with Sir Jinx, and we touched on this in episode 6 at VIP Records. Ooh. You know, and I remember you were in the back with your SB 1200. Okay,
right.
And you were playing that remix to Computer Love, okay, on the SB 1200. And I remember Jinx was playing some of his stuff too, and I believe it was probably around 88, 89, somewhere around there.
You're right.
So, and I want to also give a shout out to Kelvin Anderson, because I have had Kelvin Anderson here.
Yes, just saw him a few days ago.
Yes.
Long Beach, come on.
Yeah. So, how did your relationship, or how did you end up at VIP Records back then?
A good friend of mine, who's no longer here. His name is Cluso, David Scott Lindley. And we both have a mutual friend named Tweety Bird from Compton. And I always want to see all the different parts and cities of Los Angeles besides South Central. So they took me not only to Compton, they brought me to Long Beach. And we was going to buy records, and he had a cool relationship with Calvin. And I got introduced to them, and it's just been a beautiful connection ever since then. I was just there 4 days ago buying records and showing my daughter the history of and the foundation of how I became a hip hop historian or a DJ, a legend, icon, wherever you see me as. You know, it was humble beginning. So, man, it's good people to know and still have by my side.
Yeah. You know, it saddens me because whenever I take PCH all the way up and I run into a VIP, it's a 7-Eleven now.
Oh, what was it before?
It was VIP
I know
Records.
the original. I just wanted to see you. I know. I tripped off of that. It kind of caught me off guard. But he's still connected to the fiber, the whole frame of the whole building.
Yeah.
You know that she's just on the side. So it's a beautiful thing to know that someone's so resilient.
Yeah.
And hungry and won't let the integrity and the culture go down to the wayside because of all the different walks of life it touched and what it means to us to have someone in a voice like him in that particular establishment and community. So,
yeah,
man, super dope.
All good. You know what? I went to court when they fought to make that VIP sign a historical landmark, and they won. You know, and they won about that. Yeah, so much love and respect to Calvin Anderson. And the reason why I bring him up is because I met Calvin in early '87, and the same year that I met Dre, Jinx, and Eric. And Dre tells me, Jinx, my cousin, is producing a song for Dazzy D. And I said, okay. And he goes, I want you to do some scratching on it. And I was like, okay. Now, back then, because you love music so much, you don't, at least for me, back then, I didn't look to get paid. I just wanted to get, I wanted to get involved.
All love, yeah. We wanted some credibility. We needed some PR. we wanted to know that, you know, we love this. And anywhere we can get in, we're going to fit in.
Exactly.
So it happened. I love it. I still had that, being the age I am now. That's probably why, you know, I think the love is out there for me like it is because, you know, I know when to give.
Yeah. So Calvin calls me. I get introduced to Calvin, and he tells me, hey, I want you to do some scratching. We're going to be at Echo Sound.
Echo Sound.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's so much history in that place.
Yeah. And he tells me, come through. And I said, like, all right. So I went through, did some scratching.
Which room? The second room or the one closer to the outside with the basketball court? That one.
The one where Vodchik was engineer.
Yeah, Vodchik. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he engineered a lot of my records with L.A. Weevil and so many to think of. Jesus, man, we going back. Come on, let's give it to him.
So what happened was he tells me, I'm gonna release it eventually. I'm coming out with my labels called Thin Line Records. You know, out of VIP. And I was like, okay, cool. So I didn't hear about it for a long time. So and then finally, Steve Yano, rest in peace, hits me up and he goes, hey, I got your record. And I said, what record is that? And he goes, oh, Calvin released it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm going to show you. So this is Thin Line Records, Calvin Anderson's first VIP release. Produced by Sir Jinx, and the rapper was Dazzy D. It was released in 1988.
Oh wow! This is it, man.
So that's why, you know, VIP is very near and dear to me because of the history that he allowed me to be a part of.
This is nostalgic, man. This is crazy.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show that to you, brother. So, and I still got to get Jinx and Dazzy to sign it for me.
Yes.
So.
You got information on Dazzy?
No, you know what? I know he's active more on Facebook than he is on Instagram, but I'm hardly on Facebook.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, yeah.
What off the record, me and you, we'll push and connect with him. We'll get that happen.
Okay.
Jinx too. Both of them are available to dear friends of mine. So let's make that happen, man. That's crazy what you got in your hand.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Now let me ask you this. Now, I know we talked about you and the battles of the DJs and stuff like that when you were at the DMC.
Yes,
we talked about that.
CALI, man.
Yes. Now let me ask you this: do you still DJ?
Yes. Currently, I just happen to be 19 again in this thing, man, and I got my second win in this thing, and it's just a gift to keep giving, man. I could never go slots and go dead on that gift. That gift right there not only just paid the bills, but gave me a voice in hip hop.
Now I want to ask you this because as a DJ myself, And I love talking DJ talk. I've had Joe Cooley here. I've had Tony G here. You know, I had some great...
My sensei's big brothers.
Yes, Julio G here. So I like to ask very nerdy, detailed questions when it comes to DJing. Around what age again? And again, we'll give somewhat of a recap. Did you start DJing, if you can remember?
1979. Don't quote me on the age, but I could have been 12, 10, 11 to 12 at that time. And
so
DJ
you were
Reg
like in middle school then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Coming out of there. And this is the year Sugar Hill Gang came out with Rapper's Delight and Cameosis with the Shake Your Pants.
Hell yeah.
Just giving them the time and era and zone and what the music scene was like. At my 6th grade graduation, man, I seen this man named DJ Reg spin with 2 12s. I ain't never seen no one with 2 turntables, let alone one and the 8-track or whatever that was in the house. But to see him have 2 of the same records and transition back and forth, just repeating the words and scratching and hand clapping and blending, those are one of the 4 elements I saw. And then learned later that this guy right here would be the mentor I always wanted, because I'm the oldest of my own family, and I always looking for someone like that to put my time and talent into, because I've been a musician all my life, but I wanted to add another instrument, not knowing the DJ would be that element. So here come my B-boy, and here come the craft and I got the itch, I got the fever for it. I'm tearing up mama's shit in the house and everything to do this every day till I get my reputation and skill set right to become the DJ I am today.
Now, for DJ Battlecat, what came first for him? Learning how to blend or learning how to scratch, or at the same time?
At the same time, the blend and the scratching. That's what happened with me when I first bought my 12-inch and ended up being the left hand, because the way the component was set up. You had the turntable, the 8-track, and then the cassette. So the selector for the source of what you want to play, number 1 was the turntable, 2 was the cassette, and 3 was the 8-track. I was happy because I was able to put the selection in between the turntable and the cassette. And when I did, I got it to stay. And then I stepped back, I could hear both components playing at the same time, the cassette and the record. I was happy. So now I got a turntable that's gonna always just play the music, and then I got the left as a real turntable to have, to learn my craft. It would have been to the right, I would have been the right hand, but ever since then I just kept going. So I just learned how to blend first, phase. Of course, I started with the plastic first, and it was cool enough. I used both sides to keep it smooth, but still with some grip. And so ever since then, it's just been on.
Did you have Technique 1200s at the time, or did you have the old belt drive turntables?
I had a belt drive that was built in a console, like a sound. It was called Sound Design. It was one of them consoles, stereo players that your mother would have in the early 70s and 80s. Where it was all in one unit. The speakers is in the front. You lift the lid up. You got the turntable, the cassette, and the 8-track, and the receiver. That run the whole system. And that's what it was for Cat. That was my grandmother and mama blessed me with that. That was my setup.
That was your coffin back then. Now.
You might as well say the way it looked. And it was cool because I was able to dig out my sound and character and selection of music, how I want to blend the two and creating unique blends, recording another song, blending another song, or the same song, all that, and then having, like I'm a percussionist and a drummer and a pop locker before a DJ, so all my cadence and rhythms is silly, and what I wanted to do and how I want to scratch to come up with my patterns, because one thing we understood that coming in, you had to have your own identity and style. That was so important so people can distinguish who's who. And biting was very disrespectful. You would get booed or jumped or things of that nature. I mean, if you copying somebody else's style, eventually they're going to get heard. And I knew if I started making mixtapes, which eventually I did, Tony, that the word was going to get out. And so I wasn't around a lot of folks because I couldn't afford to go to clubs to see everybody play. So I really did my own house parties with my mom, and that was the parties for me to find out whether if I was good or not before I even was able to get around my peers.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? And I'm glad you brought up biting, because back then, you know, when you popped, you had your own moves. You had your own style.
Yes.
And you would know if somebody bit your shit.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah. If you admired them too much and then you couldn't find your own originality in it,
Right.
you know, because that's one thing I'm glad I had people around me to tell me, hey, that's cool,
Yes.
you learned that, but let me see what else you got. And then when they start talking like that around me and everything that I did, I said, okay, I see what this is.
Yeah.
I don't dress like you. We bought the same jeans, but I got a different top and you got a different top. I get it.
Yeah. Now, when it came to scratching, you had to have your own style of scratching, you know, because just like, and I'm quoting Snoop, he said, in the 80s and 90s, there were no two rappers that sounded the same. He said,
that's true.
He said, and today, he goes, a lot of people sound the same.
Yeah.
Back then, there were no two DJs that sounded the same. The dope ones all stood out. We all knew who they were.
That's what's so dope about our era, man, because that's important. I mean, it's so many DJs. It's so saturated. You do gotta, you know, what is your character? What was the soundtrack to your life? You know, how would you present music? You know, selecting it, the transition, possibly even MCing it, all that, everything about it, man. That's how you become one sound and one voice in this thing called hip hop. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this, so we could dig a little bit deeper. When was the first, or who was the first guy you ever actually saw scratch in person in front of you?
Like I said, DJ Reg, 1979, who I'm still active with now. That's like never leaving Coach Fields.
Wow.
He's still here to this day. He's active as well. He's on, what's the other program? Not in Instagram that people play on. They play on what, Twitch now?
Twitch, I believe,
Yeah, he's on Twitch now. And you can see my sensei doing his thing. And he's saucy with it, man. He taught me how to program. And my mama did. A lot of people don't really understand him. Like, what you mean? Was your mother DJ? In her own way. Her selection and how she had me assist her in playing 45s and 8 tracks. That was the art of programming. Stacking them, play this one after this one, or play it again. And then when we played it repetitiously, what that did for me is I started learning and hearing a little bit more in depth than I did the first time I heard the record. And I was glad that she did that, because then I started to pay attention to tempo, reading the credits, the labels. That did wonders for me. So by the time I started learning the equipment, it was easy to make a transition when no one telling me it was wrong. You know, I just heard the mixes and how everyone flowed. Okay, cool, we're going by beats per minute. But then with me being a musician, you know, I got a head up on folks because I'm using my musical talent. Now I can hear what key that is. And now I not only want to blend a record where the groove is dope and they sound, you know, good together. My thing is, how can I make this second song feel like the first one? Even though it's a different song, but I still want it to be like it's a part of that brick wall I'm looking at behind you. They all belong together. So I had a musical composition and a musician ear as a DJ. I'm really more of a musician DJ than anything, instead of just one who know how to DJ and the fundamentals. So it's a one-up. It's a hell of a one-up on any other DJ that get out.
For me, the first time I heard of scratching was on the vinyl Grandmaster Flash on the Wheels of Steel. That was the one that changed my world, because I didn't know, you know, when he had Good Times.
New York.
Yes.
Brooklyn.
When he had Good
Bronx,
Times.
my bad.
Yeah, and then you hear, good. In my mind, since I've never seen somebody do this on a vinyl, I'm thinking, what just happened? What was that?
When you ain't never saw it before, it's gonna blow your fucking mind.
So it did blow my mind. So now here's my brother, much love and respect to my brother Mario, takes me and goes, hey, I'm going to take you to VIP Records. And I said, all right, cool. In the 80s, Run DMC had just dropped that single, Sucker MCs.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And
Larry Smith, rest in peace, the
yes.
producer, yeah.
So I walk in and I see my first DJ at VIP doing scratching, and it was Calvin Anderson's brother, King Tim. Okay, and
older brother,
I believe it's his younger brother.
Younger brother,
the younger
okay,
brother. Yeah, because I think Calvin's the middle one.
Yeah, Cletus is the oldest.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
so Tim, King Tim, and then I remember I saw him and I asked him, "Can you do it again?" So he and I was like, "What the?" I go, "You know what? I heard a record," and I told him, I explained to him, it's called Grandmaster Flash. He goes, "Yeah, that's scratching." So I came to him like a student, you know, like I didn't know what that was. And he said, "Yeah, just put your hand on your record." So the first thing that I did, went home. My mom had a cheap ass stereo. I put another One Bites the Dust because Grandmaster Flash used another One Bites the Dust.
Voodoo. Queen, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had the knob. So I had to do this.
And we on the same shit because I didn't tell you that part, but I'm glad you saying you'll get down. Listen, it was the same thing because I didn't have a fader inside the system. My mixer knob to go to both units is the balance. That's the crazy part. When I turn the balance to the right, it would cancel the turntable. When I open it back up, you heard the turntable. So that's crazy.
Yeah, bro. So now, but here's the bad part. I didn't know anything about scratch pads. So now the belt drive is scratching the hell out of the
it's marking the record. Yeah,
marking the record.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, dum, and then dubba. When I heard that, I said to myself, I'm in love with this, bro. Like, this is what I'm married to right here. So that's what made me fall in love with scratching. Was it the same for you?
Yes, it definitely was. Because he's the first person I heard. DJ Reg. Yours is Grandmaster Flash.
Yes.
And so we talking about 79. We Grandmaster Flash and it wasn't even out yet.
Right. You're right.
So
ahead of his time.
That part.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing, bro. That's amazing. Now, you know, and eventually I ended up getting turntables and I ended up getting, you know, a little bit better, but I've always dreamed about having two turntables. This generation today, I'm sorry to say, people say I pick on them, but you have to understand our era that we had to start with whatever we had at home, and to dream of having two turntables. We didn't even care what mixer. As long as we had, I think, well, you probably had a Realistic too.
Realistic is one of my heroes.
Yeah.
If not the hero. I had the up and down before I even had the crossfader one, so I learned how to do threats and blends with an up and down because that's the kind of mixer style that DJ Reg had, even though it was a more expensive and bigger one. Yeah. But the one we couldn't afford was that Radio Shack, and that was like $49, $69 bucks.
Yeah, for the up and down.
Yeah, for the up and down before, and the other one was about 120 or something like that.
Yes. See, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't realize why, because somebody asked me, why does some DJs scratch with the fader going up and down? You know, and I said, well, because back then a lot of people couldn't afford that Radio Shack mixer with the crossfader. We could only afford this one, so we have to.
We learned that whatever mixer that would end up being like that. Like, cause I remember I came across a mixer that had a knob, like the Newmark. I forgot what model that is, but they got one with the knob.
With the knob,
I can appreciate it, but I really like having control with something that slides more than turn and rotate.
See, my brother, he used to DJ with the knob, and when he would let me practice, I was somewhat used to it because of the home stereo, so I would turn it still. But he was weird, and I'm gonna tell you why he was weird, because he would blend, and he would put his hands. Let's just say this is the fader.
Yeah,
he would put his hands like this, and he would close his eyes, and when he heard the mix, he would turn his hands like this. So he's turning the fader like to the right.
Yeah,
and then he would be like, okay, take off this record, get another one. I was like, what was that about? You know, what the hell was that about? And he goes, I'm listening to it and it's blending. So he would put his hands like this and then just turn it.
Oh,
like do this, and I was like,
yeah. He was vibing with it.
Yes.
As well as discovering himself.
Yes, but for me, boy, I'll tell you what. When I first heard my scratch, that's what I knew. This is what I wanted to do. Nobody understood. Everybody told me there's no damn future in it. You're not going to be anything. All right, because as kids, we heard that hip hop was a phase.
Yeah.
In it was going to be in and out.
About maybe a couple of years later, because at the time when I first started, you know, wasn't the one rapping on my block. But as hip hop was evolving, and I started seeing people perform at parks and over instrumentals and picnics, and sometimes at live functions. That was crazy seeing young kids being that gifted and can come off the dome, or was, you know, I saw more of that before they was penning, but when I seen that, it like blew my mind. And then I seen the attitudes to change about what we was doing, you know, because they didn't understand it. But what I loved about my own backyard is that my mom didn't discriminate, and she let me use her records, and she wanted to see how I was going to use her records because I couldn't afford records at the time. Right. So once she see how I was taking care of the records and putting them back, and or what was they playing on, she was like, "Oh, you're not scratching the record up, but you are scratching." And I said, "Yeah, it's a technique and a style." So, but hearing people say, you know, what is this? And because we was playing other music that they wouldn't think we would be attracted to, you know, some stuff had comedians and, you know, Red Fox and all that over Planet Rock, or some stuff like that, or Eddie Murphy, you know, Richard Pryor over Genius Love. So they like, man, what is this? Why are they selecting this type of music? But then it was keeping us out of trouble and keeping us happy. So I got the support, but it was crazy seeing people who was feeling very intimidated and really didn't embrace it at first, you know what I'm saying? But the way LA scene was, we really got a blessing. More than any rock stone at us, you know what I'm saying?
You know, I'll tell you one thing that a lot of people aren't doing today, and I'll probably spark an idea. But do you remember back in the days, I used to have a lot of like my SA homies, hey fool, make me a mixtape. Make me a mixtape. So, okay. But back then, so I didn't have two turntables, I was doing the pause button mixtapes.
Come on, man.
Okay. The pause button mixtape. So I was able to borrow my friend's realistic. The reason he bought it so cheap because he thought it was a mixer, but he ended up buying the Echo, the reverb.
Oh, the realistic reverb?
The realistic reverb. He thought that was a mixer.
I get it. I see why he would. He just thought it was a smaller version.
Yeah, so I go, no, that's the reverb. So I hooked it up to a mom's stereo, and then you play a beat, and you hear drum, 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 and then my homeboy heard it, he goes, yeah, man, put the Echo. I did a mixtape with the Echo all the way through that motherfucker. And bro, let me tell you something, man. After that, everybody's like, yeah, put the Echo on it. I used to love that when dudes used to drive up in their car and that shit had an Echo on it.
It gave you presence, dimension.
Yes, it did.
It give you a vibe. It gave everyone a captivating vibe. Like, look, I got the same songs, but your songs don't sound like mine. I got the mixes you don't got. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My apparel, my dress code, my whole swag is different. That's what's so dope about this mixtape game, man.
And I still have that reverb.
Oh man,
yeah.
If I need to give me one, I got to find out where they at.
Yeah,
and because the way that sounded realistic is, I can't explain, man. I mean, the first time I heard that vibe box was over Atomic Dog. And Buffalo Girls.
It just gives it a whole different other feel, like a different dimension, man.
I'm like, oh my God, these are the same reverb sounds I used to hear at Uncle Jam's Army. And you talking about 10,000 watts playing the Echo that vibe like that. It's like, oh my God, what is this? It just made the whole vibe more vibing.
Yes, it was captivating. Yeah, man.
And then the other reverb was the Pioneer, the one that sounded like a spring reverb with the water drop. I love them. Or the Sansui, Pioneer or Sansui, either one.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know, I wanted to ask you, as far as, do you miss those days, man, those backyard parties, those flyer parties, those hall parties?
Yes.
I mean, it was all about part of us paying dues. You know?
People knew how to act though, Tony, and that's another thing. We were just in love with our family, the culture, whatever we know we was into. Yeah, I mean, we know adversity was still around the corner or down the street on the block, but it was more unity, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people was very more creative and artistic in a way where you could see the innocence and the love, like you said. It wasn't money driven, it wasn't ego driven, fame driven, none of that. It was just like I still have that. I still have that about me and friends, Tony, that love to get down that way. So what I'm gonna start doing is giving you invitations to the places that get down like that, because they need to see us anyway. They seeing us on these platforms, but they don't know, have we ever played together? We so fond of each other's style and gifts and ability and contribution to this game. What would it sound like to see them DJs side by side? Because I love playing with two DJs.
Absolutely.
Like, I get the gig, but I still hire someone with me because I love playing off someone.
It brings the best out of you.
Yeah, it really does.
Iron sharpen iron.
Oh, come on. To this day, are you kidding me? Oh,
Yes.
man.
Yes. You know, now I wanted to ask you, since you brought that up about DJs, you were just recently at the 2023 NAMM show.
Yo, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking at the shirt earlier I made too for that gig.
Yeah, you were there with all the other
Ralph
and the KDAY
Jammin'
MIXMASTERs.
James, Jammin' James.
Jammin' James was here too.
Tony Gonzalez, Aladdin, and myself and Greg Mack. And when I tell you, we had an incredible time at the NAMM.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that they found a platform, and the beat junkies being the ones that be transparent with keeping the essence and the evolution of DJing. They wanted to pay homage to who they were endorsed and sponsored by, and show them that these are the pioneers that set and paved the way for us. We want to pay homage to them, and they took care of us, got our passes, fed us, had a platform. I was the only one that DJ with a controller, but I was feeling some type of way. And when Latin played last, I said, no, I got to show him where I'm at, mistakes and all. So I went and jumped behind him after he got down, and they was going nuts because all my homeboys watched me kill the controller, because I'm a musician with that shit. I mean, I'm just passionate about the technology, Tony. I'm like that. Yeah. But I was feeling some type of way, and I'm like, damn, before the whole segment or the ceremony or whatever we want to call it, the energy was just so crazy. I just didn't want no one to not see me touch the turntable. So then I jumped on the turntable, and they made every one day, because I was complete with my crew. They fell in love with me that way. Why can't they see me in today's time that way?
That's right. That's right. I saw it because I know they aired it on Twitch, and I was watching it. And I was like, wow, you know what? I wish I could have been there. You know what? I used to have the hookup every year. I had tickets, man. I used to give them away because I had the hookup. This year, I had no damn hookup, man. So I was
that's gone. That's changed. I got you.
Oh, good, man.
I'm saying that, yo. I got them.
Oh, good. Yeah, 'cause I love going to them, and usually Saturday's like the best day.
Yeah. Something about that Saturday. I mean, everyone hits the pavement there, and everyone it's just a lot of brotherhood in that place. I can't believe it's so much accurate. I can't explain the history and why the people keep doing what they're doing, but they really opening up the doors more and more for us to have our own expression with technology. I'm loving that now. It's not just an endorsement. They're really taking our ideas and our followers and fans and good consideration about their product. That's what I liked about what happened, because some people who never seen me, and I'm 55 now, I was 54 then when that NAMM jumped off. So to be this age and be able to excite someone at 5 and 10 years old all the way up to past my age was just crazy. And they saw all different walks of life, Hispanic, Dominicans, anyone who loved the art of DJing. The beat junkies set that up so we can all display why we love what we love, and the music we chose to play too was unique too in itself. because I wanted to show them how diverse KDAY MIXMASTERS is and where we come from, learning how to program to captivate the whole scenario. So.
You know, I wanted to ask was, because I didn't see him, unless I missed it, did Joe Cooley spin?
Joe Cooley performed with Rodney Yo outside, so his presence was there. He did a show, and it was so cool to see them two back together again, Tony, man, when I tell you, well, that's a whole nother segment. Maybe that'll motivate them guys to come on here and tell the world how they found each other back and fell back in love with this thing called hip hop. So me, Lonzo, the music people, Edwin from Music People, some Uncle Jam Army family and friends was there. We all embraced Tony, not Tony, but Joe Cooley and Rodney O getting it in, and he still got it and he was doing his thing. But in the inside, the next day is when we played. And I didn't know if he was going to show up or knew about it, but, he was actually on the road and really moving around. So that's cool to see that his presence was there because they ain't never been together there. And that was pretty dope to show West Coast culture coming back. Tony ripped. To see them all play still with no headphones. Come on, man.
I'm glad you said that. No headphones.
No headphones, barely even reading matchable stickers or anything on the turntables. It was crazy just to know that everyone just went back to when they first fell in love with it. That's what mistakes and all. And I was hungry for it, so I wanted them to see me go for mines. Like, okay, he a little slow and sloppy, but now I can see, we seeing him get tighter. Oh, he's quicker now. Oh, he got it in control. That's the essence and passion that is still there. And if you don't have it like that and you can't appreciate it like that, it's like, man, why are you doing it in the first place?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What about you? I was just asking you earlier, and now I'm live. I want to know, are you still active?
Yes, I am. It's weird when you say active because to Raza, active means something else, but active on the turntables. So, yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got a record called CALI is active.
Yes.
And now we can say Tony is active.
Yes, and on the turntable, I'm still active. And there's a reason why I kind of kept it on the hush because I got a somewhat of announcement coming soon. So I haven't really been telling nobody. But you know what? People will see me again. So
that part, come on, man. Because when I look at you, I said, man, I just don't want to believe he hung it up. I fell in love with your whole get down because I never seen you play. But when you posted that video, yeah, it blew my mind. And this is way later. We in the 2000s when I see this. So when I see this, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this man is so passionate. Look at his skill set, body posture, control. Not anxious when anxiety and none ain't worried about who's around him. He in the zone. And that's what we talking about when you love this thing called music like that and you want to chop and scratch and blend and rearrange the record in a way no one have never heard. That's what it's all about,
that's
man.
What it's all about.
So I'm glad we talked about this, man.
Yeah. In 2006, really quick, I started DJing for Quick again. And when
Quick?
we had, with Quick, yeah. So we had spot dates, meaning like.
Do you know what history it is? I think you are the first Hispanic DJ for blacks.
You know what? Probably.
I mean, I'm just thinking of all the ones I know.
Yeah, because Jinx, Dazzy D.
Woo! It's a pleasure to know you, homie.
Thank you,
my
brother.
God.
Thank you.
Ooh,
Well, I never heard it like that, but yeah.
Yeah. That's because I'm a librarian, and when it comes to hip hop in our backyard, I might not have the dates exactly, but the moments is just fresh, and I'm just going through my mind while I'm talking to him. I'm like, man, I don't know where they at.
Yeah.
First, Quick. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I started DJing, and so we had big shows. Whenever we would do 50 minutes to 1 hour, and we were headlining, I would take my turntables. For spot days, I would just do the instant replay machine. Yeah. But when I say spot days, they only gave us 15, 20 minutes, okay? But for the big shows, I'll take my turntables, my mixer, and everything, okay? My turntables, I've never put them and I'm gonna say it this way, no disrespect to no one, but this is just my style. I didn't put them the battle style, turn them sideways.
Right. It's long, but for those who don't know, the turntable is already it's long. So your arm and needle is on your right hand side.
Yes.
So when you turn the turntable straight up, now it's on the top. The arm is on the top, and we did that. Following my big homie Battlecat, who came back from New York. He was the first one I ever seen bringing the battle style vibe to California. It was him, and it made so much sense because for those who wanted to get to the turntable quicker, that's why, but seeing your style on the video, Jesus, go ahead, man. Seeing your video with the long mixes, just so he didn't make no fucking excuses, my guy.
Yeah. So what
that
happened?
motherfucker was down the street. He was grabbing it down the street and bringing it to the block. Bam, bam, bam. Listen, that even made me fall in love with it, even seeing Battlecat and Egyptian Lover. The console is long as a motherfucker. So we talking about why is he going that far to grab that record and bring it back, but he bringing it back so quick. But his whole, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So
fucking Tony A. God
so we had guys that were opening up for us, and they would ask me, "Hey man, can I spin on your turntables?" And I was like, "Just use your own needles." Okay. Can I turn your turntables? But turntables are gonna stay like that, bro. Dudes didn't want a DJ, dude. They didn't want a DJ because they came like standard. Put the needle on the record, bro. It works the same way as if it's turned this way. I know, bro. I'm just so used to doing. I said, bro, my turntables are gonna stay like that. So they just ended up using their instant replay machine. They didn't want to get on the turntables.
Wow.
And I realized something. I said, wow.
What did you miss? It was something you missed out?
Well, I thought to myself, if you want to keep today's DJs off the turntables, just put them regular style.
Because really, you got to show and prove it's a fucking turntable, and it started off that way. So
yeah.
How did you get dope before you saw a turntable upright like that?
Right.
Don't make no excuses, and that's the same way I felt after getting off the controller.
Right.
And I ain't had practice in years on my own turntables.
Right.
That was my workout was live in front of everyone.
Right.
So that's why I love what we talking about. The imperfection is perfection.
Yes.
So they saw me get back dope real quick.
Yeah. And that's dope because it just goes to show that no matter how old you are in this game of hip hop and music, that if you got it, you got it.
That part.
And let me make a point. Okay, all the MIXMASTERs were there from KDAY. You could have brought out, say we take out that Pioneer mixer. Say you bring in an old, maybe Newmark mixer.
Yeah, the 1150.
The 1150 with the clickers.
I love the clickers.
Yeah, I love them. Up and down fader. All of those guys could have still rocked it on that mixer.
Yes.
The bad thing is today, and I'm not trying to pick on nobody, you bring somebody from this generation, there you go, do what you do on the Pioneer on the Newmark 1150.
Yeah, so that means you got to now get into beat juggling and learn all the time signature of the kick and snare, rather if it's the downbeat or in between. You got to learn that. And I see why certain DJs had like 3 marks on the turntable, but I was used to reading 1 and it was confusing to me. But I get it. You right. Now you forced to learn how to beat juggle for real, and that's what we started with. We was doing that at first, and
yes.
I get it. I get it. Instead of hitting the button to put it there, I get it, because now it's like what are you really made of? And you gonna let the machine make you as that DJ, or you gonna make you gonna make it what the DJ thing is and how it goes, more than the machine making you. So I get it with the pushing buttons, but I was so glad that I did both. And then not only that, I want to showcase them like this is looking at this new technology is like looking at it like a SB1200 or a drum machine or MP3. So I was giving them the demonstration of what it looked like, because it had all this modification on there. You got the effects on the top. You got the cues for all your tags. You got and effects came with echo, reverb, or whatever you like, and a reverse button. So which is really the the explicit button, you know, in case you got words that's explicit or whatever you want to call it, but it's the reverse button. So, but what I liked about the reverse is that as soon as you release it, it's still going forward on beat. Yeah. So now they hearing things that we would have to take a 4-track or 6-track to do, multi-track, rearrange, program the beat, synthesizer, putting echo and reverb. Now it's all on one deck and control. So I want to show the generation why Pioneer needed to take someone like me who started from the first foundation. Might as well say King Kong versus the Transformers, because the new turntables is the Transformers, but the old turntables is King Kong, and King Kong still can make shit happen.
Hell yeah.
You got DJs like Melody.
Yeah.
Homie. No nothing. He's showing it how it's supposed to be. You know, I love how he set the tricks up, and it remind you like if you hitting the cues. But then I got stuff that's a little quicker and a little crazier in between. So he really liked to see me play on the controller, but he was happy to see me play on
What controller do you use today?
Shit, I got about 4 of them now. The DJ Roland 808, the Denon 1000 Prime, the DDD SZ2, which is a 4-channel mixer, and now I'm using the Rev 7.
Somebody just recently told me that they saw one called the Hercules.
You know, I saw that too, but I don't think I need to invest in another controller unless it's really going to have all the same features and something a little different and not so heavy. But when you think about a real motor, like a real turntable, I understand why the weight has got to be like it is. Like the Rev 7 is perfect. And then they made the Pioneer controller like the DJ style that you talking about, the battle style. I don't know who idea was that, but it was so dope to do so. So it's like you mixing on 45s with a 1200 feel.
Dope. And
almost style and look, but with a Pioneer S9, you know, vibe to it, and I love that. So I'm glad they doing this. And then I think the new one I might get is the Rain 4. I see what the Rain 1 is, but I think this one is. Don't quote me if this is not the right. I think it's the Rain 4. It's got 4 channels, and the reason why I like 4 channels because like the first turntable is the beat, the second turntable is the music, the third one is someone singing.
Like a acapella.
Yeah, like a acapella. But what I'm saying is now I can bring a 4-piece band together. That's how I really treat 4 turntables.
So is are we almost talking the Tascam Porta 1, but on turntables? Like a 4-track?
Yeah, like a 4-track. It's like that.
Wow.
But you controlling it on wheels. It happened to be on wheels. The cassette is the wheel.
Wow. So let's just say hypothetically you're playing fucking what's the name of that? My Posse on Broadway instrumental.
Yeah.
And then you're throwing in between the sheets over it. Yep. And then you got a cappella from TJ Swan, Make the Music with Your Mouth Busy, and over here you're doing the scratching.
Yeah, and then Pally the Bills on the hook. That's how unpredictable and unique and creative we can be.
Wow.
Versus it being on the drum machine now, it's on a 4-channel controller.
And that's the Rain one?
That's Rain 4. Wow. I'm saying, but even it's other models that play 4 because of the Seratos. And let me get everyone clear on this. The Serato allows you to play 4 virtual decks versus the first 2. You can set it either on 2 or 4. I hit 4 when I'm using a 4-channel, but what I just found out is that it's a way to still play a 2-channel with 4 elements. I said, wow, they get real sharp and savvy with the technology, but I want individual control. 4 channels, 4 individual EQ, everything is separate. I might want to EQ it and dial the lows out or filter it at my own discretion, each element that I'm using.
Right.
So it's amazing to be able to 4-track, but on turntables now, we can do that now.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's how we got to look at it, like craft work meets DJs.
Yeah.
Because we are musicians / DJ, all in one. So I see why the technology and the evolution of it had to happen.
Yeah. So
someone was thinking like that, like me and you.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to do what I do at home.
Yeah.
Now live on the stage.
See, that would bring me back to being a mixtape DJ, but live.
Come on, that'll fuck their head up to see you playing 4 elements and control it. Now you can either cheat and use the sync button, or if you really savvy like me, where me and you come from, we're gonna control the motherfucker with the pitch.
With the pitch.
And with our fingers.
Okay.
Which is the real true shit.
Right. Okay, now explain to people what is the sync.
The sync is like something that that synchronized. You know what I'm saying? You can lock something up, and they both stay in sync and won't go out of tempo.
So is it safe to say a person that doesn't know how to blend or mix can use that button that'll mix it for them?
Yes, but they still got to know the difference.
Okay.
That's another thing that hit the button, but someone either got to be with you, or you gonna do a thing like I did to discover. Discover myself is trial and error. That's the best way.
Yeah, of course.
That's when you develop your own style. It's a technique to come out of it when you do it from an accident, and then once you catch the rhythm of what you're doing that's awkward, now it's even and it's natural to you.
Right.
And that's how everybody come up with their shits, being so
There's
unique.
nothing better than coming in with a clean ass blend, bro.
Just shit you were just playing before we started. I'm excited because I'm just hearing clean ass cuts. But the part that you choose to cut is like, I'm a drummer already. So I'm hearing you cut the cleanest part. That's one thing I learned from my family before KDAY MIXMASTERS, which was Uncle Jam on Me and DJ Reg. DJ Reg, Uncle Jam on Me, then the KDAY. But the other DJs wasn't just KDAY. We talking about KGLH and KGFJ. We talking about New York City Nick, Michael Mixon Moore, Sidney Thomas, Greg Royals, rest in peace. These were the 70s going into the 80s DJs that I knew. And I heard on other stations prior to KDAY. KDAY was the first AM station. The other ones was FM stereo.
Yeah.
So that was crazy, being able to get, listen early on before the Grandmaster Flash or even DJ Reg, just how they would play just one record at a time. But then when I seen my uncle, he was the first to start really displaying that it's going to be 2 turntables, and now we can switch the records quicker. We can do more things to one record that you don't normally hear in the record, like beginning the record, which is the human version of looping.
Right.
We would loop something. Now the turntable is the looper.
Yeah.
We're going back, putting the needle back, or we rewinding it back. So I'm like picking the needle up. I picked the needle up before I knew it was cool to rewind. And, I would do that because I seen my mama picking up with her thumb. Like, okay, so I'm going to do that. But I know that's a dope style because Aladdin is the first brother I started seeing exercise and picking the needle up. Like, boom, boom, just taking a wild guess looking at it.
Yeah.
You don't have time to rewind it back. You're picking up the needle and dropping it on beat. That's a skill set that I admire the fuck out of DJs who discovering themselves.
Yeah, and many times when you don't have headphones, you put the needle on the record, you can spin the record, and then you can feel the groove.
And it's funny feeling the groove, not even hearing
Not even hearing
but
it.
feeling it. So now you're on some Ray Charles shit of DJing, if you want to say it. But that's really what it is, because I would usually close my fucking eyes and practice like what if I couldn't see? Or what if I wanted to do a trick where I'm blindfolded? Or shit I didn't do. I've seen it so many times, going over the same length and width of touching the whole parameter of my setup. I was like, damn, okay, I'm gonna keep doing it till I get it tight, and don't rush it. It's right there. I've been doing it with my eyes open. Now let me do it with my eyes closed. So when I started seeing DJs look away and go bam, 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 fucking it up. Battlecat was one, Joe Cooley was one, Aladdin was one, Tony Gonzalez was one. I started seeing everybody's like DJing looking elsewhere. I'm like, what the fuck? And see, that's when you know it's here.
Yes.
It's on some other shit. It's really kind of spiritual about it, because, once you see how you're touching people with your gift, you saying, damn, man, I'm making someone happy who could have been on some fuck shit, wanting to hurt someone or fuck the party up. Excuse my French. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
all good.
You know what I'm saying? And so to see the impact of people that you're leading, or you're encouraging to do something, you're provoking them to do something. It's just amazing to know that we're the maestro.
Yeah.
Before the MC.
Very true.
A lot of times the party's starting. It's someone just saying the DJ's here and that's it, but that's not even through the fucking PA. You just in the house party. Yeah. So they just waiting for you to hook the shit up while they having dialogue, and then next thing you know, doing it, and it's on.
It's on from there. He out of the crackle, everybody.
The right speakers, oh my God. The house systems was some of the best shit because we're talking about analog.
Yes.
See, that's another thing that I see the difference between digital and analog.
Yes.
Let's go play our music, go print our music and play it on the system. I even like using analog old speakers for reference to see how my mixes sound.
Yeah.
Versus the Adams and whatever else I got in my house. JBLs.
The Yamaha.
Yeah, play that shit through a receiver with 2 speakers, so you can fucking understand the difference of what you got. Yeah. We started from that. That's the ante up right there. That's, right. Well, you taking that with you into the, to the future. Now you can compete, and now I can make digital sound like analog.
See.
And it's crazy. I ain't gonna tell them the secret. They know what it is.
Yes, and another element to DJing is this. Yes, sir. Learning how to read the crowd.
Come on. If you got your head down and you think you're gonna competition DJ, y'all got another motherfucking problem. Don't do that shit. Don't do that. You finna get booed. Because now you are acting like you in the backyard, like you sparring, lifting weights. No, man, it's a protocol, and it's a situation. It's a situation now where you have to be mindful of the people who come to have a good time. They want to hear their records. Your transition and selections has got to be meaningful. Like, I meant to do this. That's the only way you're going to be able to hold their attention. Yeah. If not, then you're going to be all over the place, not understanding the body language of how people move and groove and vibe to records. Like, what is the results that they get? So your thing is just make your own selection, but be mindful of the music that got them or got them there, or been a soundtrack to the whole movement. Because that's one thing I liked about the art of DJing. It would be themes that we would create the mixes and the performance behind. Yes. It would be the theme. Okay, what about, I think it was, I tripped off when certain gigs was behind closed. Members only. I seen a gig that we was members only, and they had the flyers or the flip shirts without. They was like tank top shirts,
or guests.
Yeah. So it's crazy how we talking about the culture of how this thing affected us all.
Big time. You know what? And I loved it because you had to drop that right song at the right time that drove everybody crazy. Man. And that's part of reading the crowd. Now, you had mentioned something earlier about a drummer, because a lot of times we mix songs, since you mentioned like Cameo, you mentioned other groups. These were live drummers. So we really had to learn how to blend songs using the pitch, because these were live drummers. These weren't drum machines creating these songs.
With a metronome, meaning for those who hear music now, it's so on the one.
Yes.
And by meaning the metronome, click, 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 click. But for a drummer who is trying to take the whole move to another level tempo-wise, he might lock in for 16 bars or 8 bars on the one with the pocket, right in pocket, right? But then he might vary off, meaning the tempo can go up, not never slow down. It'll either slow down back to its original tempo. That's one thing I learned about a lot of the records, meaning the people who produced it. Like, if you actually come back down, it's only because we about to end this record. We about to shift gears. The first gear we moving, and And it's crazy how it's a human feel, because it's the same way when you see someone dance or just learning how to dance, they not in the pocket right away. So when you hear the same kind of expression with the music, like it's on but then it's off, it kind of gives hope to someone that they can one day be on beat. And when they do finally get it, it's amazing. And what we did when technology came, we wanted everything on the grid, but then it took away from that loose vibe, and it get there when it get there. It's the same way with khakis. Okay, you can wear some khakis real tight up on your ass, and your shirt super tucked and all that. But then it's a whole different thing and give you a vibe if you just loosen up that belt a little bit,
Or the
let
sag.
them pants sag a little bit, do the cuffs a different way, rather be cut and rolled up, stitched. I know I've seen folks stitch they creases. Oh my God, Snoopy was one of them.
Yeah.
Which I think was so dope. But I seen my grandfathers and them wear khakis and stuff first, and when I knew that they was cool and respectable people, then I started wearing khakis. It was way before I started seeing the image of the gang culture, and I would wear khakis and 501s and that fashion, because the DJ culture, you still had to be swag, you still had to dress the part though too. That's another thing to let them know that you're coming. You know, sometimes we would just say, you know what, I need to stand out a little bit more. So now we're going to the SWAT meeting, getting shit stitched and sold. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Stitched and sold on our shirt or our hat and everything to let you know it's us and we here. We come to rock.
Yeah, let's give him a hand clap on that one. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know, I have to mention this. For me, when I heard this and I just want to bring it back real quick, and then we're going to switch gears up a little bit. Okay. What was one scratch that you might have heard that really blew your mind? Now, mine was very simple, okay? And it was on the Grandmaster Flash on the Whistle Steel 12-inch. At the very end, he does something. I never knew if they called it something. I just called it the clap, and this is why I say it.
Okay.
He started going, cat, 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 cat. That's DJ
That's
talk.
unrehearsed.
Yes.
I should be fucking everybody's mind up. This is unrehearsed, me and him simultaneously at the same time. That's when you know this is that shit. Go ahead.
So I was always wondering, what the hell was that? Is that the drummer?
And we talking about Chic. We talking about the drummer of Chic. Good times. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Perfect snare and clap, because it's a snare drum and a clap on top of it. The snare, put them together. Two tones. I'm giving you two tones at the same time to show you I know my shit. Come on,
Hell yeah.
Tony.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
We are who the fuck we are.
Hell yeah. Okay, now, what was one scratch for you that...
The Grandmaster DST on the Rocket record with Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Now we talking about wick wick word wick wick word wiggy wiggy word wick wick word wick 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 word wick 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 word wick 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 word. Way before Shantae, Roxanne, all that quick 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 Roxanne. Way before that. He's the first one I'm hearing improvising, scratching with so many rhythms and cadence. And that shit blew my mind, because one of my mentors was inspired, and he kind of patented his style of scratch from Grandmaster DST.
Now, one thing I want to bring up that a lot of DJs don't bring up, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
On that song Rocket by Herbie Hancock. People love that song. People dance to that song. You could play it today and people will still rock to it. But what made that song different is because he's scratching so dope and so on time that people kept dancing. So there is such thing as that you can scratch and people will still keep dancing. But it's got to be smooth. It's got to be on that other level.
So now you're talking about the musicianship side.
Yes.
This is what I'm saying. So for those who never played drums and they are finding themselves, meaning how to stay on beat.
Yes.
Once they fall in love with something that they found, that will be that instrument, it's just amazing how when they marry it and they find out, I didn't know that I had rhythm. until I fell in love with this instrument.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be just like who they looked up to and who inspired them in the first place to do it.
Yeah.
And that's amazing because Reg did that for me. Grandmaster Flash did that for you.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he did the same for Dre too. I had a conversation with him, don't quote me on it, but with Grandmaster Flash is one of those guys. And so is Jazzy Jeff, especially to find out that Jazzy Jeff did the scratches for Dre's impersonate when he was impersonating Dre in the
Straight Outta Compton?
yeah, Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that was Jazzy?
No, bro. I mean,
I love this fucking show. The Roadium Radio. That's where you're gonna find out these exclusive ass stories that you never heard in your life before. So there's nothing bad on Tony because he just wasn't in tune. Didn't mean he didn't have the ability to find out. He just was somewhere else, and that's what make the village of information so beautiful in this thing called hip hop. We educate one another and enlightening. So yeah, man, he did his thing, and it's crazy him being so from Philly. He was funky, and that's one thing I loved about LA DJs, whether black, white, or Hispanic. We stayed funky, but we had this musician thing. See, this what that music was doing before we even got our hands on it. It's just what we gravitated to. And how our lifestyle was help cultivate the style. So when you speak on it like that, and we're talking about who DJs are and what they have done and how they affected us, we getting back to that stronger than ever now.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I loved about what happened, like I said, at the NAMM convention, Tony, is that someone stayed dedicated and said, you know what, we will not let this go dead by the wayside. Y'all will not keep representing what you think hip hop is without keeping the evolution, the foundation, and the founders in it. And so what they did was excited people who never seen the faces to the stories they was told about. It was always told this guy, this guy, but they was able to put a face on us, and that's what we're doing now. You're helping me. And I'm helping you, keep this thing alive, and that's what we're gonna always do until they get it right. We ain't trying to save the world, but the things that made us, we will not go dead by the wayside. Don't dare ask us to do that or sell it out. We're not doing that. That's not the business.
But last one that I heard where I saw a DJ play it and people were still dancing and scratching. Remember? Yo, I'm calling because I want to hear some scratching from the Rock Master Scott. Well, here's Rock Master Scott now. Request line. And he starts cutting it.
But do you see the protocol?
Yes.
Do you see how they set it up?
Yes.
It was an introduction.
Yes.
So they could appreciate what was about to come that they never heard in their life before.
Bro,
on beat.
Yes, on beat. And I'm gonna tell you why it gives me the chills sharing that story, because I was a teenager and I was at a club and they played that record, and then when that DJ started cutting on that record, they put on the strobe lights. So you see people.
Oh wow! Now see, see. Go ahead. I don't want to speak on it.
No, so it just gave it a whole vibe, bro.
Right.
And I saw people dancing. I saw the scratching, and in my mind as a young kid, I'm like, this is possible.
Yeah,
this is possible.
Yeah, I mean, to be an influencer, what way? Through music? What instrument? Turntables? What? Where's the place? My backyard, or the block, or at school? And which was perfect. That was our perfect opportunity to really hone in on the gift and the craft and create our followers. In the community that we lived in, the same way of how you go into it with becoming an artist. You got something you created. You go to a place. That's the platform. Okay, that's where it's at. Then once you start getting the students, let alone the school district, seeing it now, they see this as a possible curriculum.
Yeah.
You know, but they ain't ready yet. Remember, because it was, you know how New York was doing it, and then we couldn't even see the effects that it was happening back at the East Coast.
Yeah.
And so, but we created our own scene, and that's when Breaking and Entering was one.
Breaking and Entering, 1983.
Come on, man. That and then Breaking,
yeah.
Shabadoo, Boogaloo Shrimp,
Absolutely.
and whoever else that was a part of that.
Hop and Taco, rest in peace.
Taco. Oh man. Tough from the Unique Dominoes, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
The youngest one of the Unique Dominoes. Man, there's so many to name. And so, man, where do we go from here, Big Tone?
I want to change the channel up a little bit and talk a little bit about music as far as drum machines. Okay, the first time I saw you, you had the SP12. Is that where it started from you? And if it did, where did it evolve? Did the MPC 60 come after that? Okay. Now, somebody had told me this because I was not aware. Was there an MPC 61 and then an MPC 62?
If it was a one, I never seen it. And if it is, then we would Google it and see it. But it was always the MP60, and maybe that's what they figured that the one is.
Okay.
Before it turned to the MP62.
Okay. Now, so your first drum machine, was it the SP12?
Well, mine's is the SP1200, but the first time I learned was on the SP12.
The SP12, the first one, yes.
And Lonzo and Dr. Dre were the ones that showed me how to program the drum machine. More Dre than Lonzo because he spent a little bit more time in the last time that we had met at that time, which was 88, 89. And he was coming to get his turntables, and he seen me having trouble. It was like looping. It was looping and playing only 4 bars at the time, but I wanted to stretch it. I didn't want my pattern turning around so quickly. Shorter time measure on bars. It wasn't enough for me, but I didn't understand that what I have learned from playing, I needed a track that had 100, maybe 95 bars, 95 to 100 bars, which is about maybe 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at, from what I learned now, I see how long it's got to be, how many bars it's got to be. So, something to that effect. He showed me how to sequence the drum machine, so that taught me time, he taught me my time signature and bars. That's what Dre did for me, and showed me how to properly work that SP12. Then when the SP1200 came, then that was a game changer because it had a diskette that we can save everything on. And the first one, it was a Commodore hard drive. It take 5 minutes to load and damn near 5 minutes to save.
Yeah.
So they changed the technology, and I'm glad that they did because then I was in training until I got the SP1200. And when I got the SP1200, I was flying with it because the first foundation was crazy. Producer's etiquette, I learned right there in that backyard, behind, the same place where Dr. Dre started at Lonzo.
Alonzo still stayed there too.
Yeah, he's still there, man. That's crazy how he still got the spot.
And then you went on to, if I'm correct, the MPC 60, because the second time I saw you Alonzo spot, and I remember he told me, "Oh, that's my secret against Dr. Dre," and he pointed at you.
I could throw this fucking microphone across the wall. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes.
I can't believe him hearing it. And I know it's true that he would say that. But I just didn't know he went into further detail even on the production side of it. DJ, I kind of understood because I auditioned for him to take Dre's place. And that was scary as hell because, like I said, taking someone's place or copying them, it's like, no, I hope he don't want me to do everything that Dre was doing, but he liked the fact that I had my own style as a DJ.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I'm just replacing because he's going to do better things. Okay, right. Cool. I don't have to do and scratch or perform just like him. Cool, because originality is a must. But then being in that studio, Tony, it's keyboards. It's a recording facility. It's microphones. It's reverb. It's echo. It's cassettes. It's tapes. Not even CD yet at that time.
Right.
Man, I just learned how to properly record, and that did it for me.
You know who I met there that day when Steve Yano took me to Lonzo's place, and you were there? I met DJ Slip there.
That's the homie.
Yeah, I met DJ Slip
One of
there.
the other forefathers, tech wizards of drum machines.
He actually gave me 2 floppies of sounds, which I still have. The actual floppies that he gave me.
Slip, you hear this?
Yes.
We're going to make sure you see this interview.
Yes.
And you get back with the homie.
Yeah.
That you blessed. I can't believe this shit.
and I'm going to tell you, you know whose floppies I even still have, believe it or not, and he gave them to me. Unknown
DJ
even gave me floppies.
Unknown.
Yeah.
So he do like giving.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Now,
this is crazy.
I'll give you kind of like a timeline when I went, because Lonzo had just released that 12-inch, More Bounce to the 40 ounce.
More bounce to the 40 ounce. Oh, man.
Yeah, so that was a timeline. Because I had Lonzo here twice, and we went through all this. So Lonzo's much love and respect, and follow and subscribe to Lonzo's podcast. But yes, man, good time. So now here you are. You have the MPC 60. What came next after the MPC 60? Was it the 2000, the 3000?
The MPC, it was the MP 62.
Okay.
For the 3000, and it had more memory, a different shape.
And it didn't repeat every time you hit it.
No,
huh?
it did repeat. It was still it had poly and mono. I take that back. You're right. Because the MP60, you couldn't change mono to poly. Poly mean you can play more notes and more pads than just one sound. And I didn't like that. I wanted to cancel. But then that taught me a lesson. Start learning how to use less sampling time. Go 0.6 versus 1 or 2 seconds. You don't need the whole loop. You just want the kick, the snare, the hi-hat, and the musical note. So it's boom, boom, boom. Once I saw what the numbers was and how short that sound would be, oh, this is only 0.6 or 0.3, then I start making it easier for me to edit and my processing, composing, and making sounds. So I go tap it, boom, put the threshold on maybe 4, not 1. 1, that means the first time I hit sample and I drop the needle, it's gonna get it right away.
Right away.
But then it's dope with that. I changed that method by say, okay, it's waiting on me. As soon as I didn't want to do no truncation. I got the lazy shit out the door. I threw that out. I said, I see what this is. Put the threshold back on 0. So that means I will play it in my headphones. Wait a minute. If it's on 0, the first sound that come out. I just made sure my fucking shit was clean.
Right.
I wouldn't open up that fader so it can pick up the signal until I was ready. So I'm playing it in my headphones. And when I get ready to release it and I wanted to get the first thing, I'm throwing the fader up quick and fast, and it's getting the downbeat of the kick without me truncating.
Right.
Because I couldn't appreciate that at the time. I didn't know the machine. I didn't know how to make the numbers or the threshold go closer to the start of the sound.
Right.
So it was I'm just sharing with you my history and trial and error until I learned how to master it. But then a friend told me this is called truncating. Truncating is another word for cutting
or trimmed.
Trimming, trimming the sound, trimming the fat, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So that was dope being able to do that, and then I start breaking the samples up, and Slep would do that too. Dre started to do that later as well, I heard in his music. But man, he was so precise with drums, being on the one with a loop. You had that cling style. Johnny J, rest in peace, did. I'm just thinking about all the people I know who was tight with samples and drums. Oh my God, Bobcat, Pooh, Egyptian Lover. Which Egyptian Lover never used a fucking sample in his life. It's all keyboards and drums. And now that I think about him, there ain't no sample with him.
Right. Yeah.
How fly is that?
Yeah, I know. He was craft work, You
said he was what?
He craft work.
For us.
For us, yeah.
Ooh, that's a
true.
compliment.
Yeah.
Egypt, you hear this?
Yes.
Yeah, he right. To this day, he still rock. We did a concert, not even a concert, just a live performance for Roland. We both endorsed by Roland. He got the Roland 808 drum machine. They asked me to play on the Roland DJ 808 controller, so it was dope. I'm showing them how I'm getting off. I'm opening up for my big homie, Will I Am, and Jimmy Jam was in the building. They loving both of the two successful, dope-ass, iconic producers / DJs play.
Yeah.
So when I finish my set, they're going crazy. But then my man, he start his set. He do his routine. He's on turntables, no Seratos, old school style.
Yeah,
going through the LPs. But then he's got this one record he play, and it's gonna be the same tempo of him with the drum machine. Then next thing you know, he got the drum machine sitting up like a fucking banjo. I mean, not a banjo, but like a, what you call that, a
violin.
washboard?
Okay.
Yeah, a fucking washboard. He got the 808 sitting up like that on his arm, and then he just Will I Am jumps up. Jimmy Jam was running to the motherfucking center of the stage, and they just blown seeing how still current and active he is and creative he is with the 808 drum machine. And when I tell you the frequency and the sound and the transition of what he was doing made everyone want to go back and pick up a real drum machine and be hands-on with it.
Right.
It was crazy, man. Versus using what we use now.
Yes.
Software.
Yes. Okay, I have to ask you this. For this person, he literally asked me, can you please ask him this question? So I'm going to ask you. He goes, I can't watch it live because I got to go to work or something like that. He said, but can you please ask him this? So let me look for the question. Here he said, please ask him about Bloods and Crips album, Ronnie Ron and Tweety Bird Loke. Okay, so my question is to you, that album was dropped in 1993. How did you get involved with that project?
Wow. He fucked me up with the year. I'm thinking of 83 when it's 93. So,
take your time.
93, huh? We was working on the record. Okay, let's go back to the first question.
As a matter of fact, we have the album cover on the screen right there.
Come on now.
So,
Big Y, Stretch, Red Rum, Tweety Bird, Sin Loke, so many to name. My best friend who's not here again. We together. His name was David, aka Cluso. We were both together at Leon Hayward Studio with the homie Tweety Bird from Compton.
Leon Hayward, are you talking about?
Yeah, the legend who did I Want to Do Something Freaky to You, Bad Mama Jamma, Battlecat. This is him. That's who produced Battlecat.
Dope.
And so this is Crenshaw and Obama. And Tweety Bird brings me there and said, hey, man, I want you to be open-minded about this idea. I want to bring the Crips and Bloods together. And him and Red Rum came up with the title, and it was called Bangin on Wax, Crips and Bloods. I said, how do that go? What do that look like?
Yeah.
And he said, well, you know some people from your hood, whoever you might know that's talented and want to express themselves on wax from the neighborhood you grew up on. You'll bring them if they open. And from the sound of that in the background, that's how it was too. We came strapped.
That was a nostalgic sound right there.
So that was a crazy moment because that was unheard of, and no peace treaty was jumping off at that time. It was unheard of to bring all these different neighborhoods and guys from different walks of life in one place and think we was gonna be successful. We were scared as shit. And so we came, and it was a vibe like Colors or the Warriors. It was like that. It felt like that. And everyone was very standoffish. The Bloods is on your side, and where I'm standing at, the Crips was on this side. We looked at each other. Everybody had heat gauges 357s, Uzis, the whole shit. You would never know until we got comfortable and got to know each other. Then everyone took their coats off, and we seen artillery. Was like, damn. Leon Haywood had another conversation with me and the rest of the guys who was sensible and say, hey, we got to figure out a way where they can keep the guns in the car because I don't want no one to get hurt. And I should be the only one in my establishment to protect them. And if they feel like they got to get into it, then they're gonna go to old school where they're gonna thump, and we're gonna make sure they have a fair one. And that was one of the common elements that made us be men at that time versus ignorant and wild and unpredictable or uncontrollable. We wouldn't have been successful. So big shout out to Ronnie Phillips and Tweety Bird and Dangerous Records, as well as all the people who participated in Ronnie, Tweety Bird Luck and Red Rum, because that was a genius of them to do so. It brought people together that we didn't know would be instrumental in our lives later on outside of that record. I don't want to go too much deep into it because I know you got another question, but the relationship is still here to this day with some of the original members from both sides. They're still here. Some have gone on and passed, but the ones that's still here, we finding another movement that Corrupt got us a part of, that where we will be able to finish what we started, and him and Big A from Compton.
All good. You know what? For the people that may not know, how much production did you do on that album?
On the Crips side, I did, of course, a lot of it, which was 50%. And I did a couple on the Blood side too, which was Rip a Crab in Half, and another one. I forgot the name of it, but because they seen my talent and they seen something that they wanted to have a part on their side, so they asked, like, is he gonna be only for the Crip side? And I didn't want them feeling funny. We already had got them to feel comfortable putting their guns down, and so we didn't want to give that vibe where it was we was just that much hatred. Couldn't find a happy medium to enjoy each other's presence in the art of making this record. So right. I said sure I could, but I got a mutual respect from them as a person, which made it even more joyful to help both sides.
Okay, now switching gears up a little bit. There's something we talked about earlier. When a person started coming up in the 80s and you started popping, you had your own style. When you started DJing, you had your own style. When you started producing, you had your own style. But one thing about you that makes you so unique and so different, you even had your own clap.
And it's crazy that you said that. The music that I put behind the signature clap is important because everyone is always inspired. I didn't invent the clap. What I did was invent my own style of music behind the clap. The clap sound actually came from Roger Troutman. And Grapevine is the record.
Really?
And one I used two. One was George Clinton, the theme from The Black Hole. I just found the break for maybe 0.6 milliseconds of a second, and engineered it, EQ'd it, shaped the sound that I wanted, detuned it.
You brought something out of it.
Yeah, I brought something out of it so it could be mine, even though I was inspired and got it from the forefathers who created it. And if I'm not wrong, Butch from Parliament is the percussion player who helped created that clap sound for Parliament and George Clinton. But with Roger, it was him himself with live human claps, maybe over a drum machine sound, because you can still hear it. It had a sound that didn't sound acoustic. It sounded like it was from a machine or some type of keyboard. It was just very synthetic, or maybe I could be using the wrong word, but you could just tell that it was different. It was definitely from a machine, but I just love how he put the human element to it. And we talking about a flaming sound. You know how it sounds when 3 or 4 in the room is clapping. They're not gonna always be on beat. Some of it is, and some of it is not. I mean, it's a little ahead, it's a little behind, and it's on the one. So to have variations of a clap sound like that, you know, it was inspiring for me. You know, listening to Brass Construction or any other records I grew up on, and R&B besides funk records, or just knowing that you in a choir, seeing the band where people would clap their hands and how it sound with a drum is just crazy. So I just wanted to have that live instrumentation and drum machine sound in one, because it's still the human behind it.
Right.
Humans made it, you know. The interpolation is up to us,
Right.
our own discretion.
So you take a clap and you put the engineering behind one, and then you combine it with another one. You put it together.
Yes.
And that became your signature clap.
Yeah, it became my signature clap because, I mean, like I said, my musicality had a lot to do with it. The clap wouldn't have been shit without a bass line or some
Right.
chords or some vocals or some percussions or some other instruments, B3 organ, whatever it was going to be. Because I have heard all the records that I could get my hands on as a child. Like I said, with my mother being the one who was the soundtrack to me falling in love with instruments and how it affect me. You know, it was only time to tell. Like I said, having your own sound musically is a beautiful thing. You have to find you with anything that you're inspired by and put your own swag and signature on
Right.
it. It's so important.
Okay, for me, you know what made it like a signature clap for you is because we talked about, okay, the kick is on the one, and if you will, the snare's on the two. You go boom, cat. Okay, but your snare,
It's on the second measure, not the bar. Measures is boot, cat, boot. It's like 1, cat, boot, cat, 2, cat. Everything in between is a measure before
Right.
it get to a bar. I just want y'all to know that, so I know my shit. So
okay, so the clap wouldn't necessarily be on time.
Yeah.
I almost felt like it came in right before.
right, so we're talking about ahead.
Yes.
So that's
Ahead,
why I
but
say
on time.
Ahead, but on time. See, that's what I love. It's like to know how far something goes before it sounds ugly. Push the envelope. Push it ahead. Push it farther than its normal expectation, so you can feel what that feels like. You can
Right,
hear what
right,
that
right.
feels like.
Right.
But it's something on time to kind of pull it back. And that's what is amazing about looking at someone who dance. What the hell are they hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the hand gesture in the body? Why is the legs way over there and the arms way over here when he's doing that? Well, how he get back in sync? What else is he doing in between? What's all this shit in between? What is playing in between where he want to do that? Boom. That's that shit in between. That's what we got to get back to. So you have to learn the odd expression of rhythm.
Yeah.
In the pocket. You can't go without the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's part of Battlecat shit. Seeing dancers, being a dancer myself, choosing another instrumentation that I know is in between the downbeat and the next instrument. What's in between that? We would call that now, if you know music, it's called ghost notes.
Mm-hmm.
Cause they doing this. Whatever that, I'm doing it slow. It's in between. So what the fuck is it's moving? Ghost notes, still notes, but moving like a ghost in between.
You can still move.
You
can still move. You can still move. That shit is dope, bro. That shit is dope. Let me see. Okay, anything right before we take some calls, because I want to get some people an opportunity to call.
Yeah.
So you're still DJing. You're still producing.
Yes.
Okay. Who are you producing for right now? Can you give us a couple of names, or what can people expect from you 2023 as far as musically?
Well, I had took a break for a minute. Some people can't tell, but some can.
Yeah.
D-Smoke is doing another album. He's got me involved with that. Inglewood artist, dope musician himself, classical trained, pianist, crazy, singer, rapper, teacher, leader, fan, supporter, speak bilingual.
Yes.
Come on, bridging us together like in ways we can't imagine.
Yes.
Namek is another artist. Criminal, Mr. Criminal, I got one on him. I work with another dude named Invincible, dope.
Invincible. I was there at that video shoot, remember?
Yeah. Oh man, my first mariachi hip hop vibe with the Battlecat clap to it. You see what I'm saying? It's real in the field out here. We ain't ashamed of none of that. This is part of the culture. You gonna hear shit bopping and booming all the time anyway.
That was
West Coast. So my brother Mike Stroh is finally getting attention from me that he so much deserved. I gave so much of my time and love to the industry, but I never gave him my uninvited attention with my craft and gift. And being the age I am, I'm still in love with it like I was the first day I started. So he's getting some support system with him like never before. We have so much plethora of new artists coming out. I'm even trying to inspire my homeboy Beefy, who's here with me from Long Beach.
Yeah.
I want him to express something on my album. I really want to do an album. I think I got to tell my story through music and not just interviews and docuseries, if not documentaries. I got something to say. I'm on the mic. I can sing. I can box a little bit with that microphone. I'm not a rapper's rapper, but I'm a voice, community activist, vocalist, MC. You know, I love to be on that. I like to say things that's gonna really spark you to think a little bit and grow and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We call it conscious, but it's street conscious because Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Fives was that for me. They were still street in their hood with a message. So I'm on that, and they wouldn't soften the ass for shit. I'm doing something too with Corrupt, Special Ed, Chuck D, KRS-One, just to name a few. It's incredible. You know, we're
hell yeah
putting something together where we're bringing the East Coast and West Coast together in a way that they never can imagine. It's been already happening. To hear Bobcat get behind LL with the LA Posse is amazing. That's the first time you heard New York and East Coast together. The second time you heard it together, in case you don't know your history, is when Cube and Jinx, Dre's cousin, went to New York to the Bomb Squad and Chuck D and Public Enemy to do his first solo album in New York. He had LA, New York. That's the second time you hear New York and LA together. And then the rest, you could just go down the list. DJ Quick with Jay-Z, me with Busta Rhymes, Fat Joe, Heavy D before he left. The list goes on. I mean, you know, this is something they can't tear down. I got plenty I did with KRS-One. You can go listen to some Snoop shit. It's there. I did one with Slick Rick, you know. Incredible. I did a remake of One Blood, One Cuz, which is really One Love from Houdini, paying homage to what the movement was about. We didn't take away from it, but we knew we had a responsibility to clean up our own backyard. And it was amazing how we was able to get the love and the clearance for that. So I've just been busy, man, understanding what my calling is, my value, my relationships, stepping out on faith, being more courageous and effective, being a community activist as a producer and a voice, and the people really want to see me finish what I started. And so coming here is that for me. And I'm so glad you brought me here, because they don't only just see the ones that they looked up to being a leader. They see me too as a leader, and they want me to go ahead and when you hear people say, "Man, sign me, Cat," or "I believe in you," or or "you this, you that." I hate when they say I'm better than someone I looked up to, but I understand it's their opinion, and I'm just glad that the love is still there.
Yeah.
For education. And not just the fundamentals or the essentials of making music.
Yeah.
The education factor is coming back, and them appreciating the first foundation of it is happening in a crazy way I can't even explain. But me being 50 is maybe being 5 years old to the Most High, who give us breath to breathe. So I'm still a kid in it. I'm just more older and wiser and looking to learn in more ways than I can imagine. I don't have no excuses. It's too much attached to me to not maximize my purpose here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And first and foremost, I want to tell you a thank you, because you're the one that made that connect with D-Smoke. And when I got D-Smoke here. Yeah.
Come on.
And we actually started that whole interview just talking in Spanish.
I love, man, that's crazy. I love when this is how you understand and appreciate gratitude. You don't have to toot your own horn. This man right here is saying what it is that I done. And for him to wanting to identify it, and who's a part of why things happen, it don't cost us a dime to be there. That part right there. And don't think you're praising someone or you're licking the balls or kissing ass. That's not what that is. Take that definition. We know exactly what that looked like. Don't put that on real shit. This is real shit right here on Roadium Radio.
Thank you, my brother. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and put that number up.
Yeah.
We got a couple of minutes. We got about 20 minutes. So whatever phone calls we can get, you can go ahead and call us up. Let me know when it's up. And what's that? It's up and it's stuck. Okay. All good. Okay, let me see. So anybody if I didn't ask a question to Battlecat, make sure you guys call in and ask them yourselves. Anything you want to ask them about as far as music, you want to ask them about, the East Siders, working with Domino,
Just go.
Ghetto Jam is still my jam.
I want to let y'all know, too, I'm available for anyone who can afford and appreciate my contribution, though, too.
I'm good.
Still active. Cat is active.
Okay, let's see. All right, caller, call back. Here we go. We go ahead and have a call right there.
Okay, cool.
Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Tony A, Caesar from Paris.
What's up, Caesar from Paris? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. Let me be one of the first to say happy 300th episode.
Thank you, my brother.
Oh, he's in tune.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you very much. And also, Mr. Cat, welcome, Mr. Battlecat. Big fan. Mr. Battlecat, I want to say maybe one of my best Battlecat songs is That There by the Comrades, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. That's a dope record. I love when you hit me like that.
Hard.
Yeah, thank you, Ken.
And on that note, also I want to say Tony, like I said, we appreciate you.
Thank you,
and the genuine look that Mr. Cat gave when it dawned on him how much involved you were inside of hip hop with all the people that he looked up to, admired, studied after, and as an extension of that, thank you very much, Tony A. Now, Mr. Battlecat, when are we gonna see? Now, I got this all figured out for you. When are we gonna see a Battlecat catalog? When are we gonna get a whole EP of your just?
Oh, you mean hits? Like a greatest hits? Is that where you at?
You know what, greatest? No, you know what? I wanna. You know what? As a fan, what I want, Mr. Cat, is what do you got in your cajones? What do you got in your top drawer? I know you got something.
You mean that no one have heard? I get it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I tell you what. This year, I'm not gonna let you down. This year is that year. I'm dropping some shit from me, and not just it being a compilation of and other talent. It's gonna be me. I got something to say. I was just speaking on that. It's crazy that you brought it up, but when I hear it like that, ain't no way in the world I can make you wait too longer. But this year, look to hear from Battlecat.
Yes, because we really do love the songs. We like the songs with the with the Dog Pound, with Dub C and CJ Mack. There's another album that's hard.
Yeah, it's crazy that you guys go ahead.
With all due respect to the rappers, the music, the production, you, Mr. Battlecat, your fingerprint, your music, I would love to hear just in an instrumental. And it's very hard to get those, I understand.
I get it. Now I see what you're talking about. I hear you now. That part.
Why can't we get somebody to make a back there in LA we had that station, The Wave, with just instrumental.
Instrumental.
Why
Come on,
can't
man.
we have a hip hop? Where's that happening at?
Oh, he pushing the line, Tony.
We can copyright
that
right now. We got all day. Now, Mr. Cat, let me get you your thoughts on this new AI music that's going around that I hear. Listening to your interview with Tony A, I could hear that you have, when you're making music, even when you're scratching, your soul is into it, your heart is into it. But there's new AI music that they can make a mute song. Tony A, you talked about this with Norbert. You can make a song with actually no studio. What are your thoughts on that?
Without permission and without a purpose and a cause for using that intelligence, that program is disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I understand how they want to pay homage, but at least go to the writers, have a conversation with how to find out how to contact the people who wrote that record and performed that record, and because that's respect. You fell in love with it that way. Why wouldn't you go through the proper channels to get permission and bring it to them and get their approval? You know what I'm saying? Let me hear what it sound like. And then they can ask questions and say, well, what platform are you putting it on? Or do you need the proper education to do so? Because I really like what you did. Say if an artist end up liking what you did, but then he find out you don't have all the connections to make it go. And there could be a situation where now the evolution of the creative part, if it's a mutual understanding and respect for the business and how to properly do it, it'll be amazing to see what that look like. But for the ones that say, hey, you know what, I ain't gonna never get this opportunity to work with them, so I want to start putting out a mixtape, and shit like that, But my thing is, it's like I really can't put my finger on why they created this in the first place. I got to do my homework and see how much we can have ownership in that particular piece of device or technology. See, we don't own it in the first place. So how are we going to be able to benefit? How do publishing work? How do the royalties work, and it being done on different mainstreams? It's a lot of questions. Yeah, but it right now it's hella intimidating, but it's dope to be able to know that the technology can do that. I'm not intimidated by the technology of it, but I'm intimidated. I mean, I'm not intimidated, but I don't feel how we can have ownership from any walks of life. And if it was a tool to empower and put us in a place in this industry, films, licensing, all that, I would get more into it. Maybe that's, I think Big A from Compton is trying to do right now, is create a movement where they start to respect the foundations of the people who created it in the first place, and give us ownership some type of way, where it's educating and empowering at the same time. But if it don't have those things involved, then to me it's another way to conquer and devour the respect and integrity of how music was made in the first place.
Yeah. Okay, Caesar, thank you, bro. We got to give other people another opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother.
You know what, Tony? Just one more thing, Tony.
Yes, sir.
One more thing, Tony, please. One more thing. I gotta make this quick statement. A couple shows back, we had a caller that called in and tried to smudge your name, and it made me think about that. It made you come out of your pocket a little bit. So I got a statement to make.
Okay.
Pac-Man was born with a dog's ass. That's why we call her a bitch ass mutt. Fuck you, Miss Pac-Man. Caesar from Paris, and I'm out.
Okay, my bro. Thank you. Okay, let's keep it pushing. Let's see who's in the... Okay, here we go. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, how you doing?
Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Where you calling from, bro?
Hello? I'm calling from Monrovia.
From where?
What's up, Tony? Hey, from Monrovia?
Oh, okay, Monrovia.
What's up, Tony? How you been?
Yes, sir,
how
bro.
you doing, Tony?
Good, bro. You got a question for Battlecat?
Yeah, be sharp. What up, Battlecat? What up, man?
What's going on, my man? How you doing out there?
Pretty good, man. I just wanted to call you and say what's up, man. I've been a big fan for a long time, and I like the stuff you did on Bloods and Crips and Cocaine's album. They call me Mr. Kane, and then Cash, Rap Life, Jesus G, and man, those are dope hooks, so dope beats, and I just love the music, man. Especially with the East Siders and E40, and he did a lot of work, a lot of great artists, especially with Cam, Made in America.
Wow, you've been on it, man. I love it. I'm glad that I was the soundtrack to your life and others as well. That's what this is about, man.
Yeah, man, that's cool, man. Like the music and everything you've done, man. Great, that's pretty good, man. I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks for all the good music that you put out.
Thank you for supporting me since day one to now. Whoever turned you on to me, big shout out to them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Cool. Thanks, Tony. All right, Battlecat.
All right, brother. Stay blessed, homie.
Thank you.
Okay, let's keep it pushing. We're going to take a couple of more phone calls. Let's see who's going to call in. We missed about 3 of them, so let's see. Caller, I saw you. Call back. You can get on right now. Okay. So, let's see. Here we go. Caller, your name or where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Boo calling from the west side of Wheatmoss, dog.
What's good, my brother? How you doing? You got a question for Battlecat?
I'm good, man. Hey, Battlecat, man, the hood loves you, dude. Straight up, man.
Wow, you said who loves me?
You said the hood loves you.
The hood?
The hood loves you, man. Same thing I told WC when I met him, man. The hood loves him, man. Straight up.
Hey,
I remember back in the day, they called me in the 1985 Eldorado, running down Wilmington Boulevard, bumping Mr. Shortcop.
Man, Dollars Drinking Dank.
Oh, man, that was a banger right there, boy.
You know what I love about that record after doing Bangin' the Wax and all that? It's because I wanted to continue the relationship with bringing Crips and Bloods together. We talking about the Inglewood family in the rolling 60s. They was never in harmony, but they was when I made that record for that short time. Stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So...
Yeah, I believe you did Pyru Love on that one right there.
No, I didn't. I did another song. My homeboy, who I looked up to, named Jay Stank, rest in peace. He was a musician with Chucky Booker and them on the R&B scene, but he's the one that did the majority of the work along with Geek and Noise. They were the other Blood producers, those the ones, and then myself and Dookie Fingers, rest in peace, who produced on both sides from Compton. So yeah, man, thank you.
Oh, I thought you were on that one right there.
Yeah, I know. But
did you work with Drew Down too? Didn't you?
Yeah. Player for Real is the record we did. I think that was on the thin line between Love and Hate soundtrack. That was my first time getting down with him.
All right. Did you work with that? Can You Feel Me?
The Can You Feel Me is who's the artist?
Drew Down.
It could have been Can You Feel Me? I thought it was another title, but it was only one. I only did one with him. It's been so long.
Oh, man, yeah, that was a banger right there, man. I just want to call in and give you your props, man. You know, like I said, man, the hood loves you, man. You got some bangers right there.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Tell you everyone who loved me, don't know me, I love them too, man. And I appreciate them supporting the Battlecat sound and brand.
Thank you, Cardinal. Appreciate you, Cardinal.
All right, man. Just want to call in, man. All right, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Stay blessed, homie. Okay, let's go. Let's keep it pushing. All right. Let's see who's going to call in next. We're going to take about maybe two more calls. And here we go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Yo, it's the homie Kike from the city of Escondido.
What's good, my brother? You know what, Kike? I want to ask you a question because you always get in, bro, and I appreciate you calling. How many times do you call, bro?
Right now, this is the second time I called today, but yesterday I called over 50 times.
Oh, shoot. All right.
Dedication.
Yes. Go ahead, Carnal. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Hey, what's up to the Roadium Radio team? What's up, Mr. Battlecat? It's fucking dope to have you here on air today. I'm a big fan of your work. Can you give us a little backstory on how your Gumbo Roots album came together?
Well, being inspired by what Dre did, I know I needed my own sound and I needed to branch artists out. You know, that's what he was doing. He was breaking artists. And so I was signed to Harry O at the time, Lifestyle Records. That's the man who was one of the executive members to push the dream of Death Row. And he was instrumental in my life and felt that I needed to go ahead and put that together. So we had some other relationships with some folks who was dope and legendary in their own right. Mr. Howard Johnson, who made the hit So Fine.
Yep.
He introduced me to John McClain, who discovered Janet and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That moved the Control album when that was done. So he knew a situation that where I could have a home to put that record out. And it ended up being on Madonna's label, which is Maverick Records. Me, Dana Dang, Black Caesar, just to name a few, Beefy Logue. We was on our way to bring our interpolation of what the South Central would be like, as well as me messing with artists from New York in my own backyard. It was crazy. So it didn't come out, you know. It was crazy going on because at that time, just to make it short and sweet, you know, when the homie had made Cop Killer, you know, Ice-T, you know, they was really on us. That association, you know, our RIAA, they was on us real tough. And so they kind of reneged on supporting me and putting the album out, and they kind of dropped the ball. But I still had the bread, but I didn't care about the one that really wanted to get my record out. But it set me up for the alley hoop, and I still got the record. Me and Harry O just got the rights and the masters back of that record, so I might remix that record, you know, and put it back out. Japan, they loved the record. I had to perform it a few times going to Japan. They appreciate it more than anyone, and that's crazy hearing you speak on it. So I know this is confirmation to finish what I started.
Hey, sir, I just wanted to give you the utmost props, man, because in my humble opinion, man, that's a complete record, dog.
Wow.
Like everything from like conscious rap to R&B vocals and shit to G-funk to like it was a true expression of the West Coast at the time, man.
That's crazy.
I love that.
I got a question. I'm still trying
to cop it online. Yeah.
I got a question. How old are you?
I'm 32, bro. Jesus.
So you got this early on. Who introduced you to the record? Was anyone that turned you on to it, or what do? You collect records? What you DJ? What you do?
No, I dropped the ball on that a long time ago, bro. I ran into some financial situations about like 7 years ago, and I had to sell everything I had. But as for right now, I'm just focusing on just staying afloat, you know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when you first discovered me or that record, where what was you doing? Was you into music? Did you DJ? Was you a dancer or musician? I'm just trying to find out, how did you discover Battlecat in that record?
I've always been to just like looking for music, bro. Like I've always had a love for music, but I can't rap for shit. I got 2 left feet, so I can't fucking break dance and shit. I'm a terrible artist, so I can't grasp. And then fucking, I've never had the money to fucking buy equipment or fuck around with turntables and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Right, but how do you I want you to stick to the question at hand. This is something I want to know. How did you come across that Gumbo Roots record? I'm curious.
Just digging through. Fucking thank God to YouTube, man. Somebody uploaded it on YouTube.
Okay.
And I heard it.
Okay.
It blew my mind.
Okay. There we go. So you already had heard all the other great accomplishments, but then you seen something with my name attached to it, and it was called Gumbo Roots, and it was on the YouTube platform. That's what I want to know. I want people to know, how did they discover and fall in love and start respecting my music and my contribution, for you to describe it like you did is very, 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 very me to this day. And I'm glad I got people like you that love the Battlecat sound like that. It actually encouraged me to go back to that sound and do something about it. You know, I know how I lived, I know how I felt, I know what the vibe was. I can create that. Like if I was to score or do a movie, I can still go back and listen to that style. So thank you again for supporting that record, man.
Thank you, my bro.
Yeah, and to be more specific, the one artist that I was listening to at the time that I just ran into that song that you produced, it was Westcoast Cam.
Come on, man. He was definitely on that record. We did a record called Reality Check. Yeah. Thank you, man. Come on. Okay, you on your shit. That's a real Battlecat supporter when you can go into detail and you're just not talking about the surface of my contribution, man. I respect that. Like Tony said, the fans make us, man. You know, we can never shit on the fans. So to know that record is still in demand, I know what to do. I got to finish what I started. That's all I got to do.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, are you still in contact with him, or do you know what happened to him?
When you say to him, who are you referring to? Be more specific.
To Cam.
Me and Cam got some current shit that's about to come out. If you follow Cam, you'll see what's going on. I'm trying to encourage people to have, like, when you really want to find out who's who and where we at, a lot of us is there. Be tenacious, be a little nosy. Go on all platforms of social media and just type up Battlecat or Cam, and then you'll see we got Instagrams, and then you can see posts, and that'll give you information about where we at. We got some shit, me and Cam. I'm actually rapping on his album. He allowed me to be an artist on his album, so it's the Battlecat and Cam record we putting together. It's kind of dope. It's almost like, you know, Coolio or this say Dre and some other rappers, you know what I'm saying? It's producer and DJ, you know, and artist type shit. It's dope.
Dope. Thank you, Cornel.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, I asked one last thing, Tony, my bad, bro. I don't mean to cut you guys off. Hey, just this one last thing, dog. Since you're still keeping an open line with him of communication, like, is there any way you could try to plug him into Roadium Radio? Because I'd love to get an interview out of him.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We'll definitely give him after this show. You know, I'll let it be known, and if you want to say your information, say it now. What your email is or something where Cam can contact you. Say it now so we can have it.
No, he's saying to get him on here.
Oh, to get him on here. Oh, that's nothing. You haven't got him yet?
No, not yet.
I know you can't be having a problem with getting someone like real as him. Well, he's in another place, in another city. So we're gonna say state rather. So I'm gonna definitely give him the alley hoop. I think he needs to be here now. It's perfect to promote what me and him is doing. So that's what he been up to. He really got some dope shit.
All good, Cornel.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a great night, man.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you, bro. Wow. Okay, we're gonna take one more caller and then we good.
Yeah.
One more caller. So let's see. We missed about 7 calls. So if you guys want to call in right now. Ask your Battlecat question
right now.
Right now. So what was that? I know you're gonna dig this.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Okay, come on, you guys. Let's go. Let's see, how the hell did we get that?
I like DJ Post. One of these motherfuckers different. Straight gangster Mac.
Here we go. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Tony A, how you doing? This is Ray Rice.
Ray Rice. He's a day one here on Roadium Radio. I'm glad you're the last caller, my bro. Go ahead. The floor is yours, Ray Rice.
Congratulations on your 300 episode.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Welcome.
Your question, my brother. Battlecat's right here listening.
Yeah. How you doing, Battlecat?
I'm good, man. What's your name one more time?
My name is Ray.
Ray, what up, Ray?
Yeah, Ray Rice, right? Like Jerry Rice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How you doing? How you doing, man? You're one of my favorite West Coast producers of all time.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Come on, man. Let's go.
Is you, DJ Quick, and Dr. Dre on my top 3 producers.
Yeah, the West Montmore of producer.
Yeah,
I like to feel. I feel the same way, and I don't care who feel any different. I sold about 150 million records worldwide. Dre did almost double of that.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Battlecat. Battlecat. Where was the Corrupt Wicked Freaky video filmed at?
Oh man, I can't remember so long ago. We talking about 98. It was at some. It was at some. It was at someone's mansion. I don't know the location, but it was. I'm glad it happened. It deserved that platform because that's how big the song was.
Okay. What was the Still DRE video filmed there with Dre and Snoop? Was you in that video? Because I think I remember seeing you in that video.
What video is it? What's the song?
The Still DR.
Yeah. That was at the
Dre.
beach, man. That was at, I think, Doc Waller Beach, man. That was so dope, and what Dre said was so dope. You know, about hitting his homies off with jobs. At that time, I was doing a 10 song deal with Dr. Dre at the time, and I had a purpose of being in that video, and that's crazy. We started a hell of a movement and relationship with each other from that day. That's crazy.
Yeah. That East Side of G'd Up video is still a classic, Battlecat.
Come on, man. That was in Long Beach at Kingport. If I'm not wrong.
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, that was classic, you know, seeing two different neighborhoods that was rivals. They was in harmony together, the Rolling 60s and the 20s and the Insanes. They all three was in one building. It was just crazy, you know, that harmony and peace could happen through the art of music, man. That's why I never let go with music. Music is an incredible piece of work to bring people together.
Yeah, I want to see Corrupt. I want to see Corrupt on Roadium Radio.
That's possible too. I've been in cahoots with him like crazy. We got some crazy things going on. So, you know, Tony got a wallet full of goodies, man. He just choosing the right time to bring out all the different things that he love and the relationship that he have. And so everything that you're saying is coming to fruition. I'm gonna just say it like that.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Ray Rice.
Oh, you're welcome, Tony. You're welcome, Tony.
You got it, my brother. So thank you once again for being a day one, Ray Rice. You know what? Much love, much respect to you. Thank you for calling in, bro.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem, Tony. Anytime.
Okay. Talk to you soon, my bro. Okay. That's good. We're good. We're done.
Man, that's dope.
So, you guys got some super chats over there? Yes. Go ahead. They're gonna give a couple of announcements.
Okay.
All right. First of all, let me start out by shouting out Johnny D in the live chat and DJ Jamming James Carter in the live chat.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's the homie KDAY MIXMASTER.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Enrique Ledesma dropped $4.99. Your rap library keeps on growing, Tony. You are making history as we speak. You are living your dream. Your name will live on 100.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second.
Let's go, guys.
All right. Enrique Ledesma dropped $1.99. He said, Texas foods delicacies are Rocky Mountain oysters. Alonzo Amazing dropped $4.99. Tony 8. Salute.
Thank you. Salute, my brother.
That is all of them. Thank you all.
Okay, Battlecat, I want to tell you first and foremost, thank you very much. I know this was your second time here, but just number 300. That's what makes it so much special. I love talking DJ talk. I love talking equipment. I love talking eras. I love talking pop locking. I love talking drum machines. It's my life, and it's your life.
Hey, I'm so speechless, man. I feel the same way, man. And not only that, it's bigger for me on another scale because it's the black and brown invasion that they can't stop. And I'm glad that I'm here right on Roadium Radio doing it, you know what I'm saying, and giving back, you know. So thank you for everyone who's been tuning in, supporting this incredible platform for gems and stories and testimonies of what the West Coast culture is, man. Tony A, man, thank you, brother.
Thank you, my brother.
Man, my kids and my grandkids and family, you know, they're gonna really appreciate what this is and what you do for the culture and both race.
Absolutely.
Thank you, King.
Thank
Love
you, my brother. Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to my wife, you know, my mom, they at home, they chilling on my children, you know, Pulsar Entertainment, Beefy Local, he came with me with one of my loved ones from out of Long Beach, California. You, Tony A, your foundation, this beautiful family, bringing us into the home. Anyone supporting me, thank you. The whole globe. That's what it is. Roadium Radio. That's what we do.
All good. Let me go ahead and give my shout out. So we're out of here. Once again, let me give a shout out to Alex Cervantes Enterprise. Let me give a shout out to Norbert, Norbies. Make sure you guys tune into News of Norbies. Let me give a shout out to my son, B-SKANLESS, for helping me promote this, helping me bring in the guests. Also, the Hip Hop Jedi, our moderators, Magic Girl, thank you very much. And also my other co-host, which is Marvelous Inc. Yes. So much love and respect to all of you guys. Thank you. Oh, you know what? I got a special guest coming in tomorrow. I never go live on Mondays. I never do. But I have a guy coming in from Texas, and he's coming in, I guess, to have a meeting with some label. And his manager hit me up and said, can you squeeze him in? His music's a little different, but can you give him this platform? And I said, sure, come on in. So tomorrow night, we'll be going live at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard. If you guys want to know who he is, follow me on Instagram at Tony the Wiz, and you'll see the flyer tomorrow. So thank you guys. Much love, respect, and I'll see you guys soon. We out.
West.